Okay, this is another test. Let's see. I think the microphone is plugged in now. Test, 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 test. All right. Can anybody hear me? This is a test of the broadcast system. I can't ever start one of these without some technical difficulties. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Hey, Allison, if you guys can hear me, let me know. Okay, yay. Yay. Sorry, you guys. My microphone wasn't plugged in. That will do it. That will make it to where you can't hear me if the micro but then I plugged in the microphone and it still didn't work. So I restarted everything and it's hopefully it's going to work now. Hey guys. Yeah, thank you for liking my I feel like I look like crap today. This is like my coziest sweater and I just feel really cold. It's like one of those days, like I didn't do my hair, I didn't do my makeup, I look like a hot mess. And I'm getting on the internet, but that's okay. You guys see the good, the bad, and the ugly. So today is definitely it's just been, it's been crazy. So thank y'all for being patient with the sound issues. Um, Hello, everybody that's on. Yay! We're so glad to be here. I know last week there was no live going up because we were on spring break. We had such a great time, but I really missed being able to hang out with you guys. And I'm glad to be on here tonight. I'm sorry it was like short notice. I think I just posted it like a few hours ago that I was going to be on. So thank y'all for being flexible. And if you're watching the replay, you can still comment and I will try to comment back too. And also, before we get into, if you have any questions or comments or anything, let me know in the chat and I will get to them. But tomorrow is going to be my gold tier Zoom call. So if you're part of the gold tier over on Patreon, 8:45, I think is what I said, 8:45 to 9:15. It's just 30 minutes and we're just going to hang out. I'll actually get to see your faces and chat with you guys a little bit over there. It's so much fun. We did it one other time last month and it was a blast. So be sure I will be sending out invites or the link to it over there on Patreon. So, and then I was going to do it on Thursday, but I think we may have to move it to Friday for the silver and gold private live chat. It's just like this. It's just for the silver and gold tier. And there's less people, so we get to hang out and talk a little bit more. So you can go over on Patreon and surely find all that information out. So all right. Hello, everybody. Oh, Miss Erica, I'm so sorry that you're in the hospital. We will definitely be praying for you. Um, that's awful. I hope you feel better soon. Um, we cannot wait to be in Arkansas either. This process has been so hard because we just want to be there. We want to have like everything moved and be settled. And it feels like it's been forever, but it really hasn't. It's actually moved really quickly. But I don't know. It feels like the process has just it's been so stressful. So we can't wait to get all settled. Hey, Belinda, it's 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday in Australia. Right now it is 8:30 on Tuesday night where we are. So Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. over in Eastern time. Yeah, it's crazy that you guys are like on the next day and we still haven't gone to sleep yet. Stormy and rainy here, stayed in PJs all day. I stayed in like comfy clothes all day and it's like I have no excuse. It's not been rainy. It's been actually beautiful. But I just have not I feel like the feeling like the day before you get sick, I think it's just exhaustion. I'm telling myself it's just tired and stress, but I just feel kind of achy in my legs. I don't know. I just feel weird. And so I have literally read and took naps. We did get out a little bit today because they were doing an appraisal of our house this afternoon. So we had to be out for a little while. But other than that, I've just been at home. And it's been nice to have David back. He got in like late last night. And so I feel like Tuesdays are just us catching up from the weekend apart. He's exhausted from traveling. I'm exhausted from having the kids, and doing all the things. And so Tuesdays, we're just like not, very productive. That's okay. Rest is productive. That's why I tell myself. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us and all of your comments. I'm going to try to get to them. If you have any questions or anything you want to chat about, leave it in the chat. I think a lot of you are just saying, hey, hey, everybody. Thank you for being here. To the people who were upset about the previous withdrawal of offer finally come to their senses, yes, they signed the release, I guess it was last week. And so we were able to get our earnest money back and we were able to get out of the contract. It was so crazy. I think they were just mad, honestly, and I get it. Like it would be disappointing if we had buyers back out too. So, but I don't know like what it was doing for them not to sign it because then they couldn't, like they were just stuck too. So they did finally sign it. We were very grateful. I hate it worked out like that because we really love that house. It was a really big house. It was actually a good bit bigger than the one we're getting now. But yeah, that was weird. Our realtor, it's bad when your realtor's like, I have never seen this happen before. It's like, oh my gosh, of course. Of course you haven't. Oh, thank you so much for the prayers, Belinda. I hope that I feel, but I really it's like that feeling of I could just be tired. I could just be kind of off, or maybe it's the beginning of being sick. When we were visiting my brother, he was sick. We weren't around him. I think I saw him like at the very end just for a quick hey before we left, and he was feeling a lot better by the time we saw him. But they think he possibly had the flu, and I'm just like, oh, I hope that's not what I'm getting. We've had our flu shot and everything, so it could just be tiredness, honestly. Yeah, I can't. Me and David are just like counting down the days to feel like I am a nester. Like I like to have everything settled, and when everything is like in disarray, and our home is in storage units, and some of it's in the garage, like it makes me feel very panicky, and having it all be up in the air, and you know, it's truly like you have to trust God at every step, and I'm not. I'm getting better at that, but it's not my strong suit to like not have control on a lot of things. And so it's been hard. And then David being gone a lot and all that has been hard, but it is just a season. And I know we're going to come out of this stronger and all of that. We're so excited about the move and our new church, and everybody's just been so wonderful. But the process, it's been hard. We did have the inspection on the new house. We actually had that today. We found out a couple of things that they already were like, oh, we're going to take care of that. Nothing like super major, but we're waiting for the final report. We haven't gotten the final report. We'll probably get that sometime tomorrow. Our inspector is amazing, and I'm fully so grateful that we have somebody that's looking out for us like that. He's very thorough. He's the one that found all the stuff at the other house. He's a Christian guy, just an amazing inspector. And we'll get the final report from him for tomorrow, but it doesn't look like anything huge. It's a newer house. And so of course David isn't there right now. So our real estate agent is the one that kind of was there to let him in and talk to him. And then we'll get the final report tomorrow. But she was saying the owners seem very much like, oh, we'll take care of this. Anything that was wrong, they were like, oh, we can, so they seem like very eager to, get stuff done. So we're just praying that continues. So when we move, will we be closer to family? Yes, we will be a little bit closer to my mom and dad. I think it's like a difference of an hour, maybe an hour and a half closer, which I'll take it. And then we'll be a lot closer to David's mom and dad. I think they'll only be 3.5 hours away. So it almost cuts. Well, I think they're 5.5 now if you drove straight. So a couple hours closer to them. So that'll be great. So no, honey, that's not right. 3 hours closer to Jess' family. No, not quite. I wish. It's a difference of like, I think it takes 5.5 to get there. It takes 5.5 to get there from Arkansas to Alabama, where they live, about 5.5 hours. And right now it's like 6.5. So the way you travel with kids. Well, I think it's going to be the same because we're still going to have to stop and all of that. So driving time, it's about an hour closer and a lot closer to his mom and dad, like 3.5 hours versus 5.5. That's 2 hours closer. So anyway, it's closer. It's not a huge amount, but we'll take any amount because we love to be able to go home as often as possible and then them come, visit us as often as possible. So, um, yeah. I gotta correct him if he has something totally wrong. Um, but it will be better. It will be better, especially for his parents, like to be able to come 3.5 hours. That's great. That's, a morning trip and not even an all day trip. So anyway, David's awesome because I feel like I've been super stressed lately, but you're not right. What are you talking about? You just said we would be 2.5 hours closer to my family and 3 hours closer. No, 3 hours. You said 2.5 hours closer to your family, 3 hours closer to mine. You actually got it backwards. Anyway, it is what it is. Does it ever bother you to answer the same questions over and over? Not really, because I get like everybody doesn't watch every single day. If you guys watch every single day, like gold star, like you guys are awesome. But I know a lot of people can't. I know I put out a lot of videos. Not everybody can watch every day, so it doesn't really bother me. Um, but I do get a lot of the same questions over and over, and that's fine. I'm used to saying things over and over to my kids. So I think it's just, it's naturally what happens. So, but anyway, yay! Thank you so much for watching every day. The fact that so many of you start your day with me in the morning, it just makes me so happy because honestly, there are days where I'm like, who wants to watch this? Like nothing is going on, and Aw, thank you guys. All of you that are saying you watch every day, you are making my day. Thank you so much because lately I'm like, there's not been a lot of great content, but I was determined when I started out this year to vlog every day. And I never knew when I started out to vlog every day what would happen with losing the job and changing and moving. Like I had no idea. So it's been kind of crazy, but I'm so glad to have this documented. We'll have it documented every single day of this crazy season and we can look back and see like God's faithfulness and all the memories because it's one of those things that feels really long when you're going through something like this. It feels like every day is forever long, but then you look back in a year and you barely remember it. So to have all these memories like where we can see every day is really cool. Oh, you guys are so sweet. It's okay. If you ever get behind on the videos, don't feel like you have to catch up. I mean, you can if you want, but you could also just jump in where you missed off. I know I post a lot of videos, and so I do not expect you guys to watch every single one. But if those of you that do, thank you. That's so sweet. Yes, I am planning on keeping going with the vlogs. I mean, it's working out really well right now. The hardest part I would say is I truly don't ever have a day off of YouTube. So, but it's kind of a trade-off because the way I was doing it, before I started doing daily vlogs, I just had I did more work. I would maybe spend all day working on YouTube videos a couple of days a week. So I would have longer times where I would work and I pre-schedule videos and stuff like that. So I'm not spending as much time every day. It's just like a little bit every day. So that's been easier in a lot of ways. But I still have to make sure I do something every day. So I can't not, but it's been really fun and I love it. So, oh, you listen while you're doing your cardio. I love that. I love that so much. I need to be getting on the cardio train again. I was doing so good with my walking, and then I just have not done it in a while. I need to though, because I know I felt so good when I was walking, and it's actually a beautiful time of year right now to walk. I don't know. Aw, thank you so much, Savannah. That makes me almost cry. Thank you so much. For you to say that means so much to me. I really want to show real life, but I also it's a hard balance to balance. Like I want to show you real life, but I don't want to just show you negative stuff. But I feel like if I just show you positive stuff, all the good things, then you think you don't get our life isn't perfect. No one's life is perfect. And I never want to make you guys think that, oh, her life is like sunshine and rainbows and I'm over here having all this stuff happen to me nobody's life is perfect. Everybody has stuff going on. And so I want to show that, but I also don't want to bum you guys out. So I want to, I really try my best to make it as positive as possible. And at the end of the day, like, you either, if you're a Christian, you either believe what you say you believe or you don't. Like, if you truly believe that Jesus is your savior and your Lord, like, he's got you and that he has a plan and all of that. Like, I don't know how people wake up in the morning and don't have that assurance, especially like going through trials. Like, I can't imagine not having that assurance, because even though this has been hard and like every day there's hard parts that, stuff that happens, I know ultimately that everything's going to be okay because God has us. And so it's easy to have a positive attitude without assurance. So I love that, Mia. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Haley. It's something that I feel like, I don't know. I always think about, like, I want to be as genuine as possible, but I also I also don't want to bum you guys out. So I try to show you the good stuff without. I get some comments of people like, "Oh, you're always complaining." But I'm really trying not to complain. I'm just trying to show you guys real life. And I feel like on YouTube, if you watch most, not all people, it's a very much like highlight reel of life. And I just don't find that very relatable. I like real life. I like to see, oh, that person is just like me, and they have stuff going on. And if they can be positive in the midst of it, then I can. So, but thank you for saying that. How do you guys get multiple clips? Yeah, you're gonna need, I know they do have phone apps that you can edit on. I don't film on my phone. I film on my camera, and then I have a software where I can edit clips together. I do know that they have phone apps that you can do that. I know, like CapCut, I use that for my Instagram videos because I do film on that. I do film on my phone for Instagram, but um yeah, I just use a camera. I started out using a phone, but I just feel like the camera quality is a little better. But the phone qualities now, I mean, they're way better than when I started with my like terrible phone quality. So, oh, thanks, honey. You guys are so sweet. You're like gonna make me all emotional tonight, which it doesn't take much right now. But thank you. Thanks, babe. Oh, thank you, Savannah and Beth and Jen. Thank you so much. You're in the woes of getting your 3-year-old son evaluated for autism. I am sending you all the love and prayers. And I remember so vividly when that was happening with Nate. And he's 10 now, almost 11, which is just crazy that it's been so long ago. But I remember it like it was yesterday. And I'm sending you so much love because I know how hard that is. But I also just want to encourage you. The diagnosis process I was scared to death of. But honestly, when we found out that he had autism, it was like the easiest, like it was the most like relief I think I've ever felt, because we had a name for it, like all those thoughts I had as a mom, like there's something going on, you know, I was able to get a diagnosis, and then we knew how to help him and we knew how to start therapy, and he was able to start in preschool and have people that knew how to help him. So as hard as getting him diagnosed was, it was also like the best thing that ever happened. And, no diagnosis changes who your child is. It just helps you help them better. And so I'm sending you all the love. I know it's really hard. I really know how it's hard. If you need to ever message me on Instagram or email or whatever, I would love to pray for you. But it's all going to be okay. Like, God made your baby and he chose you to be their mom, and he's got him and he has a plan, and I'm sending you all the love. Psalm 77 has been circulating in our lives. Ooh, I need to look up that one. I can't think of what it is right off the top of my head, Shay. Yes, we do have a good father. And, thinking about God as a father, because we have children, when you think of God as a father, or even if you don't have children, but you have a father, and thinking of that relationship of like, I just want good things for my kids. I don't want to see them struggle. I don't want to see them, needing things. Like, I want to be I think that's how God is with us. It doesn't mean that struggles aren't going to come, but he's right there in the middle of it with you. And it's so important to remember that and remember that he has a good plan for your life. He wants the best for you. And when we show him that we trust him, then he's able to do even more. So I love that. I'm going to need to write down Psalm 77 and hang that up somewhere. Okay, let's see. Oh, thanks, Haley. I really like relatable people on YouTube. I look for that as well because I feel like it used to be like when I first started YouTube, there was a lot more I call like real life people. And it's not as common as it used to be. Like there's way more beautiful stylized videos, which I also like sometimes, but I just don't feel like it's super relatable. And it makes you have you ever like been looking at like Instagram or YouTube and then you start feeling like terrible about yourself? Like, oh man, well, she obviously is so much better than me. Look like how beautiful her outfit is and look at how beautiful her, house is and her pantry and everything's perfect. And there's nothing wrong with those things. But I feel like sometimes I watch that stuff and I'm like, well, I kind of feel bad about myself now, So yes, it is free. I never paid for CapCut. It's CAPCUT. And you can like string together different clips. It's really easy to use. And yeah, I've never paid for it. So, oh, oh, Carissa, I love that. And it's never too late. And just never know. Like if God put that into your heart, then He will use it in some way. It may not be the exact way you think He's going to use it, but He will use that. And I feel like special needs teachers, they're like angels to me. Like those people are like walking around in human form, but they're angels, like they're such a blessing to the kids and to the parents. And they're so patient. And I just love every single teacher that Nate has ever had. I want to do like above and beyond to bless them, even though I feel like anything I do is never enough because they work so hard. They don't get paid hardly anything. And they do it basically because they feel called to do it. Nobody goes into special needs education because it's like going to make a bunch of money, or status or anything. Like you go into that because you have a heart for it. So, oh, yes. Getting the help. Yes. When you are starting to be able to have people that help you and that's what helped Nate, like getting into a preschool. It was just with the public school system. It wasn't like any specialized thing, but getting in there where they had therapists that would help and speech therapists, occupational therapists, and not even that, just the teachers being trained and how to teach him. Like his language took off. I mean, he still has the autism. He still has issues, social issues. He still has all that. Didn't make it go away, but they were able to like really channel him. Y'all, this child, he went to bed tonight, he was speaking Russian. He's big on languages. He teaches himself all of this stuff. And right now his kick is languages. And so um he'll go into Croatian, Russian, Brazilian, Portuguese. And then I saw him on this app that was called like random country generator. And so you just like it's like a randomizer, but it picks a different country. And then he would go look up that language and like try to translate it. It's crazy. And so so many times we focus on all the bad qualities of, or not the bad, but the difficult qualities of autism, but there are also some really awesome ones. Like, I mean, Nate is brilliant. I wish I could be inside of his mind to just like understand a fraction of what he learns and how his mind works. It is amazing. It is amazing. Yes, Vanessa, are you in Mississippi? And I have been thinking about everyone that got hit with that tornado that came through. A lot of you were asking about my family, which I appreciate. David's mom and dad's town got hit pretty hard. They're okay. They had a little bit of damage to their property. I think like their fence and some trees and maybe some siding, but they're okay. I know Mississippi got devastated, and we're definitely praying. Some areas, like I said, of Alabama, just awful, awful. I've never done the in-app purchases, so I don't think you would need to. You could just do the free version. So he probably would love Romanian. He loves. I asked him the other day. Oh, I'm kicking something. I asked him the other day, "What is your favorite language?" And he said Russian, and I would believe it because that's the one that I see him going back to more and more is Russian. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. He studies the Russian alphabet. It's crazy. Yeah, they are so smart, and what's so funny is, like, Nate goes into the regular kids' classroom, his school, a little bit too, and the teachers will think he's not listening because he's, like, talking or, not being still or whatever, and they'll be reading a passage and asking questions, and he will answer them, and they're just like, "I didn't even know he was listening." They just pick up on stuff, like, he can be talking, have his Russian going and all this stuff, and me and David could be talking something in another room, and he'll hear us. It's just crazy. It's crazy. I need to get a video of him doing it. It is so funny. But then I actually filmed him doing Croatian the other day. It was awesome, but I have no idea what he's saying. And I'm like, what if he's saying something really bad? I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. If he's like, I doubt he would know how to say anything. You just don't know. Like, if he copied some, I don't know. So I need to, like, maybe I could play it into like um uh Google Translator or something and see what he's saying. I'm just like, Nate, because he went into this whole long monologue. Sometimes he'll memorize like parts of TV shows in different languages and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't even know idea what he's saying. I don't want to put that on YouTube if somebody's like, oh, that's really inappropriate. So anyway, he's funny. That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. I love pizza. Nate's favorite food is pizza. He's had it like every night this week. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, he did sing his going to school song, and well, at first he sang it with a German accent, which was killing us. And then he was singing it like he was saying German words. I don't know if they were the exact thing. Sometimes I feel like he just makes up German sounding words. I don't know. Um, Jen, you say your son struggles with talking and has few words. Autism is such a big spectrum. Nate, let me see how best to describe this. He speaks very well, but it's like a tape recorder speech. It's very much like rehearsed. He talks in scripts. The hardest part we had with him and kind of led us to be searching for a diagnosis and stuff was he would not have conversations. If you asked him like, "What did you do today? What do you want to eat?" Um, he wouldn't answer you. Like he only talked in these like scripted like TV shows but they were always kind of appropriate. Like if you would say, "What do you want to drink?" He may talk to you about some milk ad, jingle, or a script with the word milk in it. So he kind of knew that he wanted milk, but it was just like really weird. And so he's gotten a lot better over the years with being able to talk to us and tell us like when he needs something. It's still very I don't know how to describe it. Like if he spills something on his shirt and he'll take it right off because he hates being wet, and he'll say, "I need a new shirt, please." It's very much like that. Now he created that sentence, but it's very much like I need, it's not like, "Hey mom, my shirt's wet and now I'm going to take it off." It's very much matter of fact when he talks, which we're thankful for. But there are people that don't talk at all. But there are like Nate has a talking device. He didn't um really do much with it because he just wanted to like do funny stuff on it. But I know there are like speaking devices that kids who can't talk can. The people were telling us that there was this guy who doesn't really talk, but he like went to college with one of these talking devices, wrote papers. Like there is infinite possibilities. Even if you're like, oh, he doesn't talk, or there is so much hope. Just because he doesn't talk doesn't mean that he's not brilliant, that he's not going to have an amazing life. So You just keep your head up because you're doing the very best for him by getting him help. Vanessa, I'm so sorry to hear that your former teacher and her family got killed. That's awful. Definitely, I'll be praying for their family. That tornado, so scary. Is he gonna do any activities outside of school? He seems like he has a great memory. Yeah, okay, so this is the thing with Nate. He's amazing at instruments, but he doesn't want anyone to show him how to do it. Okay, so any kind of lesson is extremely hard. I think if we had the exact right person who, like, specialized in teaching kids with special needs, maybe. The same way with, like, getting him swimming lessons, he didn't wanna hear how to do it, like, he doesn't he wants to do it his own way. He's always been like this, and so I don't know, honestly. He can just, like, figure out the piano and, like, play songs without even learning technique. He doesn't wanna hear what they have to say at all. So, anyway, I did ask him what he was saying, and he doesn't tell me, so I don't know. He looks at me like, "How would you not know?" Like, he's so funny. Yes, he does. He makes us laugh so much. He always talks in, like, a funny way. There's this I think I've told you guys before, but this is one of my favorite things he does. It's also kind of sad. But when he feels sad, it could be he got hurt. Usually, though, it's like an emotional sad, like he feels sad, which is not very often. He's a very happy-go-lucky child, but whenever he feels sad, he goes into this monologue from VeggieTales, and it's like this long thing. "My big brother stole my action figure right out of my hand, and da, da, da." It goes on and on and on and on. And he, like, somehow relates to that, and so when he's sad, he will go into this monologue. It's so hard not to laugh because it's like, "And then a bird pooped on my head," and, like, he's going on and on and on. I mean, it's long. And, but I think it's really cool because he's communicating to us that he's sad. It's in a very roundabout way. And so he did that tonight. I don't know what he was thinking. He was just sitting there and all of a sudden he started crying and he started going into that monologue. And I was like, "Oh, buddy, I'm so sorry that you're sad. Do you want a hug?" And he came over and he gave me a hug and then he was okay. So I think that's really cool that he, like, expresses himself to us that way. It's different. And so a lot of people, if they don't, like, know what he's doing, will be like, but we know, like, that's just his way of expressing that he's sad. It's very interesting. Hey, Katie, happy birthday. Everybody tell Katie happy birthday. I'm so glad you joined us on your birthday. Tell us if you have any amazing birthday plans. Or are you, like, just a grown up who went to work? Birthdays aren't as fun when you become a grown up, right? That's awesome, Jen, that he has words and colors and numbers. That's awesome because that tells you that it's in there. Like, he has the ability. So that's awesome. Oh, thank you so much, Amanda. Yeah, we keep forgetting all the funny things Nate has said. We want to, like, rank them, but he says so many funny things, I forget half of them. I try to, like, write them down on Facebook or something so I'll have them, but then I forget to, like, where I put them. Our favorites that we were coming up with today was, when he said, "You guys remember this one? I want two carrots." Was it 2 strawberries? 2 carrots and a knife. 2 carrots and a knife. He came up to us and said, "I want 2 carrots and a knife." We were like, "What?" It was so random. And then another one he said was he looked at me dead serious and he says, "How do you say 'fight the power baby' in French?" It was so funny. So if you guys remember any funny Nate stories, you'll have to help us make the list because he kills me. Like, he makes me laugh every single day. So, yes, VeggieTales, he doesn't he got on a kick of watching them all the time, and now he doesn't really watch them that much, but he's got, like, so much of it memorized. So oh, yeah, the cream spinach thing, that was really funny when he took a sip of Mark's protein smoothie, instant breakfast thing, and he said, "This isn't milk, this is cream spinach." I don't see, that line is probably put together from some script, some show that he's seen. He stores it like a memory bank, and then he'll, like, throw them out, and it's so funny, so funny. "Oh, you took the week off of work, yay!" Oh, but you have a migraine. Now that is, like, the worst birthday ever. I'm glad you had a laid back day, but I hope that migraine lessens up. That's awful. Okay, so I have gotten Katie is a pharmacist, so she can tell us if this is absolute crap or not. But I have gotten probably 10 people send me this one video of this lady who said that she suffers from migraines and she's on sumatriptan, which is what I take for my migraines and I love. And it was like stopping working. She was having to take it all the time and all of this. And she started taking ginger root pills. And now she doesn't have any migraines. If she takes it like at the start of her migraine, it goes away. Does anybody know anything about that? Because I mean, I'm willing to try it, but I also feel very skeptical of it. I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt. I actually have actual ginger in my fridge, and I'm wondering, like, can you just take ginger, or do you have to actually have the ginger root pills? But I don't know. April, you are fine. This is like one of those things where you can just jump in whenever you get on, you're on. Oh yeah, Haley. Yes, tell me the dictionary of Twitter. Do you guys remember when he was asking us at the dictionary, which is like the definition, that's what he says. Tell me the dictionary of Twitter. And then he would say, tell me the dictionary of YouTube. Tell me the dictionary of Instagram. And he did that for like so many things. He was like in rare form. I think that was like we were living in our first apartment in Georgia. So that was years ago. Yes. I say all the time that if we had like a camera crew following us around, they would get like gold footage because so many times I'm so in the moment, like when we're traveling and I have all three kids and we're getting out to go to the bathroom, y'all, we have that footage. Like I can't film it because my hands are full and it's crazy, but it is crazy. It would be like comedy gold. And then Nate says funny stuff. This isn't milk, this is cream spinach. Oh my gosh. He will kill like the stuff he says. It's just so funny. And he is also what we call the milk bandit. He did this even when he was in the nursery, like as a baby. He would pick up anyone's bottle, anyone's cup. Like he didn't care whose it was. He has always been like a heavy drinker, like milk especially. And yes, he doesn't have diabetes or anything like that. He's just always been very like Dave is like this too. His family's like they love to drink stuff. I am the opposite. Like you have to like I have to remember to drink. But where was I going? Oh, he will steal anybody's cup. So if Mark has milk out, it's like if he sets it down for 5 seconds, Nate's going to drink it. So it's been kind of funny now that Mark's drinking those instant breakfasts because he drinks the vanilla ones and they look like milk. And so Nate will grab them and he does not like them. It's so funny, his face. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the tell me the dictionary. That's like classic Nate. Definitely. Oh my gosh, he hasn't done that in so long. Makes me sad. Yeah, it is really cool. It's called, the type of, language processing he does is called Gestalt, and it's a whole thing. Like, I always just thought it was really funny that Nate did it. I didn't know it was an actual thing. Like, a lot of autistic kids and, like, sensory process like, different, like I don't think it's just autism, but a lot of autistic kids talk in this language, this Gestalt processing, and it's very, like, repetitive, um based on TV shows or books or any type of like that's how they learn language. It's very fascinating. Their brains just work a little differently. They don't learn language like most people learn language. It's like it's so cool. So when I found out like this is actually a thing, it's been interesting to learn more about it. Clara, I don't think so because he wasn't eating at all either before we started the protein drinks. And that's why our pediatrician recommended starting them because she was concerned about him not getting enough protein. So, I mean, it's something we have to balance because obviously, if we give him a breakfast smoothie, a breakfast essential, whatever you want to call it, instant breakfast, he's obviously not going to be as hungry because he's having that. But like at least he's getting that and not eating nothing, or only eating like a couple of chocolate chip muffins. Like it's obviously more nutrition. So it is a balance. But the pediatrician's the one that, like today, I didn't give him one because we went to eat Mexican and he actually was really in the mood to eat Mexican. So he He didn't even get one today, and he ate a lot, so that's great. So we've been trying to, like, give it to him later in the evening, so if I feel like he hasn't had enough food all day, then I'll give it to him, and that's been working out really well. Okay, so Katie says ginger is actually known to be good for migraines. Okay, so I'm definitely gonna have to try it, because the sumatriptan really works, but sometimes it doesn't work as good as others. Like, I had the worst migraine ever the Sunday after I got to mom and dad's house, the day after we got there. It was horrible. Nothing I did made it better. It was one of those, like, I'm gonna, like, hit myself in the head, anything to make it get to go away. I finally had to take 2 of the pills to get it to go away, and they'll only give you 9 a month, and I just feel, like, so stressed out about it. Like, well, what if I run out and I have a terrible migraine, you know? So, anyway, I'll have to try that. The allergies have been horrible. I mean, I don't know, there was pollen all over Alabama. You could see, like, the layer of it, and I definitely think that kinda triggers me too. So, oh, Savannah, this is a good question. What's your favorite thing about each of your kids and your husband? Oh, there's so many things. Okay. Nate, I can't pick one thing about him. I love Okay, this is what I'm gonna say because me and Dave were just talking about this today. Nate is the most joyful kid. You very rarely see him in a bad mood. I don't know if I've ever seen him in a bad mood. I mean, I've seen him sad about something. I've seen him getting hurt or sick. Excuse me, but I have not seen him in a bad mood. He is the happiest, most joyful person, and I think it's for a few different reasons. He doesn't care what anyone thinks of him. He truly does not care. He doesn't worry about stuff. He lives in the moment. He knows, like, who he is, and he's good with it. He is just he's the happiest dude, and I love that. Like, it teaches me so many lessons how he is just so joyful and he's so, like, confident in himself, and I just love it. Lucy has the most tender heart. I think a lot of it is how she was made by God, but a lot of it is also having a special needs brother. She is the most caring, nurturing child, the way she is with Mark and Nate. I mean, she is such a sensitive heart. I have to be careful, even if I, like, get onto her about something, like, you have to do it very gently because she is just so tender-hearted and she takes things so seriously. Mark, he's so snuggly and he's so happy. He's a lot like Nate in that. He's so happy. He can be moody though. And he's just I don't know, he's like our gift that we didn't see coming. We really thought that after Nate and Lucy that we were going to have any more kids. Like, we were good. We had a boy and a girl. We were good. And he was like our surprise. And now I truly can't imagine our life without him. He is like the cherry on top. He's the sweetest guy and he is so sweet. I mean, Mark is just my sweetie. David, I could go on and on. Y'all know how much I love him. He's always so supportive of me in everything I do. When I told him I wanted to start a YouTube channel, I mean, I feel like a lot of people will be like, "What?" Especially back then, when there was, like, YouTube wasn't as big as it is now. He was never, like, questioned me. He was always like, "Yeah, you should," you know. And he's always been so supportive to get on the videos with me and all of that. And he always is like my biggest cheerleader. And he's always so, dependable, like, I know I can trust him, and he's always gonna be there, like, we don't play games with each other. That's what I like the most, like, when we decided to get married and, like, date and all of that. Like, I never thought with him, like, he's gonna, like, break my heart, you know? Like, I've got the feeling of other people I dated, like, it was never like that with him. Like, he was always just steady and always there and always so awesome. So, that's a really good question. Thank you for asking that. Where did my family go on their cruise? I love going on cruises too. I believe Mexico. I am a terrible daughter that I don't know this. I know they were on the private island today. They're going off of a Magnifica cruise, I think, and MSC cruise line, and I think they're going out of Miami, and so somewhere Caribbean, Mexico. I don't know, but I'm super jealous of them, and I would love to go on a cruise ASAP, but it's probably not gonna happen anytime soon. Um, Aw. Oh, we should do a day in the life of Nate. Y'all would be busy. Okay. I keep thinking that I am going to like put a pedometer on him and just get an estimate of how many steps he takes in a day. It would probably scare us all to death because he's so busy, but that would be really cool. Oh, that's so sweet, April, that he said, Mom, I'm so happy you're my friend. Oh, that is so sweet. If you ask Nate, who's your best friend, he always 100% of the time says Lucy. They have such a sweet relationship, but I love that he said you. I'm trying to teach Nate to be my, for me to say that who's your favorite? Who's your girlfriend? Mommy, but he won't. But the other day I said, who's your favorite mommy? And he said, Jessica. I'm like, oh. Mark is not in school. He just turned 3. And so maybe not this coming year, but the next year we'll probably put him in preschool. I'd like him to be home with one more year, but we'll see. I don't see him going to pre. My other 2 kids, Nate and Lucy, both started preschool when they were 3, but they were almost 4. Actually, Nate, I don't know how old Nate was. He was 3 or 4. Lucy was like days away from being 4 when she started. So Mark's birthday is in February, so it'll probably be the next year. Oh, congratulations, Ashlyn. Congratulations. A promotion at work. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. That was another good Nate quote. Um, it was embarrassing, but also when he yelled this out at the piano recital, I could not stop laughing. Nate gets me to the point, I'm never like this, where it is embarrassing because I cannot stop laughing. And you're in a place that you really don't need to be laughing. It's very inappropriate to be laughing, but he gets me going and it's just more than I can take. He yelled out, "Look at my hairy armpits," loud at this. When I tell you Lucy's piano teacher is like the most poised, amazing, like sweetest girl. I'm sure she understands she has kids, but she creates the most beautiful piano recital. It's like serene in there. Okay. For him to yell that out was so embarrassing, but also hilarious. And what was more embarrassing than him yelling it out is how I could not get it together. I was laughing so hard that it was like causing a scene. But it was hilarious. And then the other day, or the last piano recital in December, he yelled out "Roll Tide" after she did her. I don't know where he gets his material, but he's so funny. Oh my gosh. He is definitely unapologetically himself 100%. Like he does not care what other people think. Like he is him. And I love that too. I love that, Megan. We will definitely be praying for you guys. It is so hard when you feel like you don't know what's going to happen. Everything's up in the air and things are crazy and stressful, but God does see and he cares. And we'll be praying for you guys. Aw. Aw, thanks, honey. I feel like I've been kind of mean to David lately because does anyone else do this? When you get stressed, you take it out on the people you love the most, and we've been stressed. Like I've been super stressed. And so I've been really snippy lately. I've apologized, but I feel like he gets like the worst of me a lot of times, and I don't like that. I really want him to get the best of me. But I just know like he's always so good to me. He's always, he just loves me unconditionally, and I love that. Day in the life of each of the kids would be fun. That would be fun. That would be fun. Yeah, no. Honestly, I just know that homeschooling is not for us. My kids love school, especially Nate. I can't even imagine what he would be like without school. He lives like spring break, he's counting down the days till he gets to school again. Like he just loves it. He loves the routine, he loves the challenge, he loves being around the other kids. And he gets a lot of his therapies at school. School just works for him. And I know, you know, you see bad things that happen in the news, like what just happened. I mean, it's heartbreaking, it's awful. But at the same time, like those bad things happen. They could happen at the grocery store, they could happen at the movie theater, they could happen, and you just can't I just feel like we can't live our life in fear. You pray to protect your kids and for God to protect your kids. And then you trust him with them and you pray that nothing, like every time the kids get on the bus, I pray that they come back to me safely, and none of us know. The Bible says that God, numbers are days, and we have to trust that he's fully in control. And as much as maybe it would make me feel better to have them all home and under my wing, I can't do that forever. Um, I can't protect them forever. Eventually they're going to grow up and they're going to move away, and they may get in a car accident. I mean, we just we can't control that. And so it's not right. I understand if people want to and they feel like that's what, they're called to do. But I know for my kids, like it's not. They love school. I think it's important for them. So that's my take on it. um, I think David was really proud of the roll tide thing, but when he said it, y'all, so we're like filming this and we're like, yay. And he yells it out so loud that again, me and David get so tickled. And this is after Lucy's first song. She has to do a whole nother song that we're supposed to be filming. And this is right, we're just coming off of the look at my hairy armpits time, like a few months late before. So we're really trying to be there for Lucy. And then he yells out "Roll Tide," and we get so tickled yet again. And we're like, the video that I took is unusable because I'm like laughing and shaking the camera so bad. Oh my gosh. It is a memory that we will never forget. And Lucy saw us laughing and she kind of looked at us, and I think she thought we were laughing at her. So then I felt so guilty. And I told her after, like, we weren't laughing at you. It was Nate. And I showed her the video and what he said, and she thought it was awesome and hilarious. So, oh my gosh, he kills me. Yeah, you guys, y'all never snap. Like nobody in the comments, I'm sure you can't relate at all to the kind of snapping at each other. Why do we do that? Why do we? It's just like when you have kids and you get them back from like being at their grandparents' house or a babysitter or their school, and they're like, they were angels. They helped me do this and they did that. And you're like, are we talking about the same kid? Like they are terrible for me. But they say like they do the best. They show you their worst. They act out the most when you have them because they're safe. That's their safe place. And I feel like that's kind of how we are as adults too. We take out our frustrations on the people we love the most, which I hate, but I need to do better at it because I feel like I've been super snippy lately. And there's nothing like everything's going great. It's kind of stressful, but everything's going great. It's still looking good for our house to sell here. The house is appraised today, so that's great. And then we had our inspection for our house in Arkansas today. Went well. We haven't got the full report yet, but it looks like it went well. So it looks like we're going to be closing here April 24th there. And then we'll close April 24th and we have 2 weeks to get out. We close there May 1st. So we'll have like 1 week to move. And in that week, we have to paint the entire house, which so many friends from church are like, we'll help paint. We'll help paint. Oh my gosh. Like such a blessing. Even our realtor is saying that she wants to help us paint. We're just so blessed. We also want to get the house like deep cleaned because they have a cat. And I regret when we moved here to this house, the level of dirty that it was. I cleaned and cleaned like right after we closed. I cleaned, like mom helped me clean when she came. It took us forever to clean it, like all the dust and all the, they were doing construction during the time. So I don't know if it'll be that dirty because there's not construction going on, but I just think like other people's bathroom, like I just think it would be nice to have it like freshly cleaned. But we were pricing it out today and somebody hold on to yourselves. It's expensive. Like it is real expensive. So part of me is like, well, maybe I don't even know if I'm going to be able to be there at the closing. And so I'm like, well, maybe I can try it. Maybe I can clean it, but I don't even know if I'm going to be there. So I'm like, but I could save us so much money. But I think we're just going to bite the bullet and pay for it to be cleaned. And I think we'll be very happy we did that. But y'all know I'm cheap. So did David try the TikTok for a lot? No, he hasn't tried it yet. Me and Lucy tried it. What was that? Day before yesterday. So you guys saw it on the vlog today. We need to get him to try it. Maybe we can do that tomorrow. I also have a taste test box coming. A company sent me like around the world snack box. So I want to try that with you guys too. So be looking for that. But we'll definitely get David to try the fruit roll up thing. I think he would like it. Yes, Lucy is the best, and we are definitely gonna be having a painting party. And I'm gonna be so jealous because, again, I'm not gonna be able to be there. More than likely, I will be here trying to finish up everything I need to do here. So, I'll be super jealous of the fun they're gonna have. Um, Megan, I'll have to look into that. I don't know if I've read a couple of books written by autistic parents, like their kids have autism, but I don't know if I've ever read one written by an autistic person. I would enjoy that. Yes, we're hoping, like, once we get the final inspection report, the buyers seem very eager to, like, fix stuff that they're pointing out different things, and they're like, "Okay, we'll get that fixed. We'll get that fixed." Of course, it's not, like, in writing yet, so, hopefully everything goes well and we can continue on with the plan to buy that house. So I really don't wanna start all the way over, you know? Mm, yes. Megan, it's so cool because so many people think like, if you have your kids have autism, they're maybe not listening or they have, they're not as intelligent or whatever. But I find the exact opposite. Their brains are amazing and they're the genius level. Even people that are, non-speaking, um, their brains are always listening. Just because they're non-speaking doesn't mean they're not hearing, and it doesn't mean they're not intelligent. So it's very interesting. I would love to like be inside Nate's mind for just like a couple of minutes, It would be so interesting. Definitely look out for that taste test. I think it'll be fun too. It's called like I don't even know, try treats or something like that. And they were awesome to just send me a box to try. So we're going to try it. Lucy said that she wants to try it too. And I said, well, what if it's something you don't think you'll like? Will you still try it? And she said, yes, I'll try anything. So I'm like, really? So we're going to let Lucy try some stuff too. Oh, that's so cool, Haley. I love that. I feel like the autistic community is really like coming into its own. And there's a lot of people who are standing up and being like, this is like my story and I want to say it. Like, I feel like so for so long, it's been like other people talking for them, and now there's all these people rising up like, I'm autistic and this is, what we want and this is how I feel. And I think it's so cool. It's really cool. Like we have never, and I know this may be controversial. I've had people disagree with me before, but we've never made autism a bad word in our house. When Nate was first diagnosed, we would have people like, "Oh, is it okay that we told them that Nate had autism, or is it okay if we said that to so and so?" I'm like, "Yeah, like autism isn't a bad word. It's not about. We don't say like Nate has autism. We don't like. We just tell people in front of like he knows he has it. It's to me, it's just part of who he is. It's nothing to be ashamed of. So, that's just kind of how I always felt about it. But some people I know don't think the same way, and that's fine. But anyway, let's see. Um, Megan, maybe on an app or something. Like it would have to be the right thing because anytime I encourage, it would have to be like his idea. Anytime I encourage him, like to do something, like he doesn't want to hear it. He's a typical like 10-year-old boy. So he maybe if we had the right app or something, he would like to learn. Maybe it's possible. Yes, absolutely, April. Um, and that like with Nate, I don't know how it is with him, but Nate has a hard time or he's very selective in what he wants to answer about. So a lot of times he struggles with reading at school because he doesn't want to read their stupid story on, the daffodils are blooming or whatever. And so even though he can understand it, he just won't answer them when they ask, well, what does this mean? Or what. So we have to like and so if you just looked at it on the surface, you would think, well, he doesn't understand what he's reading. He does. He just doesn't care to tell you. So I find it like if he's reading big Nate books or if he's reading, Captain Underpants, he totally knows what he's reading, but he cares a lot more about those. And so Nate, like I said, he does not give a rip what anyone thinks of him, including his teachers. So he doesn't understand like the importance of showing them what he knows. So he'll answer wrong sometimes just because he thinks it's funny, or he won't answer at all because he just doesn't feel like it. And I'm like, Nate, they don't know that you know this. They're going to keep asking you the same stuff until you tell them, but he doesn't care. So, um, Belinda, yes. Right now, this church is only doing Facebook live streams of the service. So if you're on Facebook, you can see it. But eventually, the church will be hopefully live on YouTube, and I will definitely be sharing that. It's not yet. So I'm hesitant to tell people our church's name. You could totally find it if you have a Facebook and you go to our pages. I just really it stresses me out. 99% of the people are amazing. But there's that 99.9% of the people are on over here are amazing, but there's that 1% that will like search your church out and like give them hate I don't want any of that to happen. And so you can find it or you can message me and I'll tell you. But yeah, I'm careful not to just shout it from the rooftops because I want to protect them. And I've already told them, look, you may get some hate, and I'm so sorry about that. Like, delete it immediately. I like that we deal with hate, and so it's just a part of YouTube. And so I hate that though. I hate it so much. Like, I don't like it. Yes, that's a very good point, David. Make nobody whispers, I'm diabetic or I'm allergic, I'm going mom. Yeah, like it doesn't define who he is. I've never understood like not there's people who disagree with me saying you shouldn't tell your children if they're autistic. You shouldn't tell them because it may upset them. I feel like we've always been open and honest with Nate that he's autistic, and so why would he be upset with that? I feel like it's more likely to be upset with it if you've hidden it from them. It's his right to know, just like it's his right to know if he had anything going on inside of his body. So I've always disagreed with that mentality, and I think it's kind of swinging the other way, and most people don't do that anymore. But anyway. Yeah, selective hearing is definitely the truth. He the teachers are always like, "I didn't think that he was listening, and then he answered every question right." I'm like, "I know." I'm not surprised. And then sometimes he'll answer every question wrong because he thinks it's hilarious. And I'm like, "Nate, he used to do that all the time, like serious test." One of the goals one time I went into his IEP was like, "Nate will learn how to count to 20." And I was like, y'all, he's been counting to 20 since he was like 1.5 years old. What are y'all talking about? They're like, well, he won't do it for us. And I'm like, I promise you, he knows. He knows how to count to 100,000. I mean, he is a freaking genius. So it's been so funny because it's like they don't know what they don't see. And so I'm always like, oh my gosh. I promise you he knows this. And so I tell him, like, Nate, you have to show them, but he doesn't care. He thinks it's hilarious to answer wrong, whatever. Oh my gosh. Yes, Belinda, absolutely. Absolutely. God sees us. God doesn't see us. Our physical bodies are temporary. All of the struggles we have with illness and all this stuff, they don't define who we are. Like at the end of the day, those things are the things that last for eternity. So hey, Tay. Thank you for loving the cooking videos. I have made a very simple meal plan this week. Tonight we had grilled cheese sandwiches. I've planned like tacos. I want to make sausage balls again. I've been loving those. So we'll do like breakfast for dinner. Nothing exciting. I got that delicata squash. If you saw my Trader Joe's haul, delicata squash and Japanese sweet potatoes will probably roast with some green beans or something and sausage. So yeah, Haley, I really try not to mention the town that we're going to. The thing is, like, if someone wanted to find where we live, they could. It wouldn't be that hard to find it. But why, like, make that available? Like, why would that make it easy for them? We try to do our best to protect information. Like, I'm never going to say what school our kids go to or anything like that. I'm never going to show you like the outside of my house or say, I try to be very careful, but we also have like very strong security. Oh, we have, a security system and all of that. So we do the best we can, but it's one of those things, like if there was somebody nefarious looking for you, then they will be able to find you like they would. Like we live in such a social, but you can never be too careful. Yes, you can definitely email me and we will let you guys know when the services start streaming live, like on YouTube. Because I know not everybody has Facebook. We we can. I'll share like the videos and stuff. Definitely. Yeah, it can be scary that they don't have that, like, that stranger danger. Nate has never really had that. So you really have to protect them as best you can. And then there's that thing like I was talking about earlier with the schools and all of that. At the end of the day, like we trust God to protect our kids. We do the best we can. I'm not saying we just, don't care, but we do the best we can. And then ask God to protect them. And, he cares. What I try to remember is he loves them more than me. He wants the best for them too. So, Megan, it's probably because I'm delayed in getting to the comments. So sometimes when you type it out, it takes me a while to get to it, but that's okay. I love that your son refers to his autism as his extra superpower. That, yes, it absolutely is. There's so many. Nate, okay, does Nate have any special skills? I mean, he's another level, y'all. I mean, I don't even know. He was reading by the time he was 2. He studies foreign languages. He does math. Like they'll put a math problem on the board, like that's like the super challenging math problem, and none of the kids know how to do it. And he'll go up and just write the answer. He doesn't show his work. Like he just figures stuff out in his head. Like everybody's amazed by him. He can figure out songs on a piano without being taught. He's just really, really smart. So he has lots of skills. I mean, do you guys remember when he was like memorizing publication dates? He always does like these phases. He gets on phases. But Dr. Seuss publication dates, we memorized all the Dr. Seuss publication dates. So random. He memorized all the flags, country flags one time. Now we're on, like I said, languages, Russian, Croatian, all these languages. It's just crazy. April, isn't it so frustrating when they're like, I go in for those IEPs and they're like, yes, Nate, my goal is that Nate will learn all of his colors. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you'll have no idea. Like, how do I explain the level of ability, And it doesn't take them that long before they start seeing him do it. And then they're like, oh my gosh, Nate did this and that. And I'm like, I know. He searches on YouTube for like videos on, he will like freeze frame either Google images or he'll watch videos of how to speak a certain way. He has like this website, I guess, that he can record stuff on. And so he'll record people saying languages and he'll like learn them. He uses Google Translate. He does all of this stuff without like me. I wouldn't even know how to do it. And I've caught him many times just studying. He'll have the Russian alphabet pulled up and he will just be like studying it. I can't, like, I don't even know where to begin with him. It's crazy. Yes. Yeah, he's actually really good at like talking. He has a great like accent. Like he can mimic any type of accent, inflection. It's crazy. Yes, Layla, if there is anyone like standing outside of our door coughing, she will go crazy. Now, she probably won't hurt them because she's only 9 pounds, but she will bark real loud. She sounds like Cujo or something. It's so funny because all of our neighbors, they hear her barking and they're like, oh my gosh. And then it's Layla running out. And they're like, oh my gosh, she's so funny. I'm like, I know. She's so ferocious. Okay, so this is a common question that I'm glad you asked, Amanda. Parsonages. I feel like a lot of people think that maybe if you have a church that has a parsonage, you think they're still super common. they're actually not very common anymore. None of the churches that we've ever either attended or worked for has had a parsonage. So a parsonage is like a more old fashioned thing where you would have a house on like the church grounds where the family of the pastor and his family would live. And so they're right there. And a lot of times, the church pays for the house and like the utilities, they would pay the pastor a little bit less, but he would have all his like, he would have a house and the utilities and stuff. Um, so David's answering that too. Our church doesn't have a parsonage. Like I said, it's not super common anymore, which I'm kind of glad. I don't know how I would feel about living like right on the church grounds. Um, and we would be like, not be able to like pick out our own house and stuff. So David stays at a hotel for the 2 days a week he's there. And then, you know, yeah, he stays at a hotel and then, hopefully soon we'll all be there together and we'll be done with hotels and all of that. So yeah, the church has been so amazing, like so like hospitality, like unbelievably amazing for our family right now during all of this. It's been, I know it sounds a lot, and they've even said he doesn't have to be there every single weekend, but David really loves what he does and he wants to be there as the church is growing like from the ground up. So, yeah. Okay. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know, like, to me, and this could just be Nate. I don't know why all autistic people are, probably they all don't, but autistic people in general may not have stranger danger. It's just because, like I said, Nate does not, he's happy go lucky. He doesn't think about like bad things. Like I don't know how to describe it, but he is just like, he's just happy. Now, he's gotten a little bit more close over the years. So he doesn't like it when there was a phase where I'm kind of glad he's past this, where if I went to the grocery store, he would be so upset. He was very much attached to me. And he's done a lot better about that, but he's still pretty attached to us. I don't know if he would just go with anyone, but yeah, he doesn't really think about danger. He just lives his in the moment life. Yeah, Jen, we have that same exact thing with Nate. When we go to the park, Nate will go up to anyone. He doesn't care. He really loves to go up to the adults and he'll be trying to say, he doesn't even say hi, that would be great. He would just be like, hi, or something. But he'll go up to them and be like, what's your favorite number? Or, some random math problem he'll ask them. And I used to get kind of like embarrassed about it or be like, Nate, get away from them. But what I found is most people think it's really charming. And if I notice that he's talking to someone who looks like they're kind of over it, I'll just go over there and distract him and be like, hi, I'm Nate's mom. He loves to talk to people or whatever, and try not to make a big deal about it. Or I'll say like he has autism. And he likes to chat. And most of the time that is like, oh, they by then they're like, oh, okay, and so I feel like we're spreading awareness wherever we go. But yeah, he has no fear of just walking up to anyone and saying hi. Yeah. That's very cool. That's very cool, April, that they're so similar. This church has been, David's been a blessing to them. They have been such a blessing to us. We are so, like, I have never felt so much love from just a church that we've just met. And so many of them have been on my YouTube chats and comments, and they just like embraced us. I've never felt that before. It's been awesome. Um, yes, like David said, we are assemblies of God. That's awesome. I know we have lots of different churches represented here. I think that's really cool. A rectory, I think so. I think that's another name for like, yeah. Um okay, did I miss somebody talking about food? Is David's answering a question. Oh, is there a food you like that David doesn't? Yeah. Yeah. David loves meat. And I think I've talked to you guys about this. When I was a kid, I wouldn't eat any meat. I was just, the thought of meat grossed me out, and it still does. Like, to me, it's not even, when I was a kid, it was more about the thought of what meat was. But Now even it's just like the texture of meat, like that like fleshy texture, I just can't do it. So I kind of stick with ground meat. Even chicken I can be weird about. I like probably more seafood than David does. He definitely likes more like hearty meats than me. Yes, he doesn't like hummus or yogurt. And yeah, he said seafood. So we said the same things. How can you not like hummus? I mean, hummus is so good. He also doesn't like as much spicy foods as me. I'm definitely more spicy than him. Like the buffalo chicken dip is my all-time favorite food. I love it so much. He likes it. He doesn't love it like me. Um, oh, that's cool that your uncle, aunt, and uncle live in a parsonage. I know that they still exist, but I do think they are more rare than they used to be. Like I feel like it used to be very common. Um, but yeah, it is a blessing. Like it would be a blessing because you don't have that expense. There's pros and cons for sure. Does Nate prefer to hang out with adults or children? Yeah, he definitely prefers to hang out with adults as well. Yeah. Um, I don't know why that is. Like he always gravitates to the adults. When you ask him who he likes to be with at school, he'll always list the teachers. And sometimes I'll be like, well, what's your friends? He'll still list the teachers. I'm like, what's the other kids in your class? And then he'll tell me some of their names. But yeah, he always is going to gravitate. So when we're at the playground, 9 times out of 10, if he's going to go up and talk to someone, it's going to be another adult. He's always been like that. Um, oh, that's cool. That's cool, Belinda. That's a nice like thing to have because there's so many times like there's people who are in between things like that, and to have it like a safe place that's awesome. How do you not like hummus either, Shay? Ah, I love. This is just me. I love any kind of dip. Like dips are like my favorite thing. I'm gonna have a party and call it like Dipmas. I saw this on Instagram for Christmas, like a party with just dips. Like that sounds amazing. I love all dips. I don't even think there's one I don't like. I just love it. Hummus and yogurt is not gross. What is wrong with you guys? I am not like a huge yogurt lover. I very rarely eat it, but if I have like a yogurt parfait or something like that, I like it. Yeah, David got jambalaya. Um, one of David's favorite foods is jambalaya, and it all started when we interviewed at a church in Louisiana. Wasn't the right fit. We ended up not going there. This was years ago, right after we got married. We had this amazing jambalaya they cooked at the church, and he has become obsessed with it. I've looked up recipes, and I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. So I need to figure out. Apparently, somebody at the church makes some really good jambalaya. So I need to see what they did and make him some. But there was also this restaurant in San Antonio that made jambalaya that David loved. So that's the only time he gets it. Okay, him and Uncle Kevin, Nate and Uncle Kevin get along so well. It is actually the sweetest thing. Um, they have like a kindred spirit or something. So Kevin, the funniest thing, so Kevin is completely nonverbal. He does not talk at all. But I can tell y'all, he does not like when we get on to the kids. If we even just saying, Nate, stop running. Okay, just like that, which I feel like I say 100 times a day. Kevin's like, ha, 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 ha. And he's like putting his hand over my mouth. He does not like it. He wants those kids to be left alone. Do not get onto them, especially Nate. Do not get onto Nate. It's what I think is like the sweetest thing. And also, Nate will just go sit by him all the time. He will lay on Kevin. He will put his feet on Kevin's lap. Kevin does not move him. It is so sweet. Every time he does it, I try to snap a picture. I just think it is the sweetest thing. And what was David the last time they were here? Nate noticed that Kevin didn't talk, and he would go up to him and be like, say this, say, hi or anything. And then it was just so funny, but it's like he finally realized. And so I'll be like, look, Nate, Uncle Kevin doesn't talk. He doesn't talk. And so he kind of would like ask questions about it and stuff, which I think is really good for him to learn. But Kevin it's their relationship is so sweet. I love Kevin. Your childhood church has a house attached to the church. Yes. That I think is I feel like especially if you go to maybe a smaller church or like a church that's been around for a long time, the parsonage is a lot more common. Your hubby loves spicy food and I not so much. I don't like it if it's spicy, like super spicy, where you can't taste anything else. I don't like that. But like a good like heat, I like a little bit of heat. Okay. Okay, you like well, queso is really good, but hummus okay, maybe you have not had good hummus. Maybe? I love any kind of dip. I've told you that. Well, see, like, it's a texture thing for me. I get the texture thing, but, like, I have to have something crunchy to dip, in that texture. Like, I wouldn't just eat it with a spoon. I don't think I could do that. So, yeah, the pickle hummus, mhm, mhm, that stuff is so good. They need to bring that back. I haven't seen it at ours in a while. That's, like, my favorite hummus. That one, and it's only in the variety pack, but there's this, like, cilantro lime, I think that's what it's called, at Aldi that's really good too. I wish they would sell just a container of it. Dipmas. Yeah, we're gonna have Dipmas. We're gonna have it. Like, you could make so many different things. You could make dessert dips. You could make there's so many. It would be so fun. You don't eat yogurt, whipped cream, Cool Whip, texture. Yeah, that I get that. I get the texture thing. Yeah, Zatarain's jambalaya. I guess we could do that. I feel like it's not authentic, but it would at least give them like the flavor of it. Yeah, they're Kevin is so sweet. I joke that I fell in love with Kevin before David, and it's a joke, but it's kind of true because I met Kevin the first time David took me home to meet the family, like instantly. Like I loved him so much. And I had never met anyone else with autism, or I didn't even know that much about autism. I never met anyone with autism. And I went early. David's mom and him were playing at church on the worship team. And so I sat with Kevin while they practiced, and he held my hand and he laid his head on my shoulder. And I was just like, oh, I just loved him so much. Um, I love Kevin. Yeah, David doesn't like strawberries. Can we all roast him for that one? Because I don't understand. I dipped like when we first started dating, I did not know this. And we laugh about it now. But I made chocolate dipped strawberries. I had these like gorgeous strawberries. I think it was for Valentine's Day or something. And I made them. I was like showing him. I was wondering why he wasn't that into it, but I think he ate one. And um later, it came out that he did not like strawberries. I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me?" I don't get it. Even Nate likes strawberries. They're so good. Yeah, he doesn't like the texture of the seeds, if I'm saying that right. I don't get it. I don't get it. Jambalaya, did David answer this? Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like a rice dish, like a very flavorful rice dish. They put like meat in it. It is really good. Especially, like, when we were in Louisiana, they made it in this big, like, kettle thing outside. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Yeah, Nate Nate gets all the strawberries in our house. I'll let other people have them, but I'm just like, "Save these for Nate, that's all he'll eat." Today, I cut up, like, 10 strawberries for his lunch, and they were the big ones. Kevin is, my age, actually, so he's a couple years younger than David. So, me and him are closer in age. My birthday's in December, and then his birthday is the next April. So we're like, what is that, 5 months apart in terms of age, and David is a couple years older than me, so, like, 2.5 years older. Oh, okay, I've lost my here we go. Um, oh, you became allergic. Definitely don't eat them if you're allergic. That sucks. Aw, thank you so much, April. I'm so glad you found my channel too. I have made my own hummus. It's been a long time. I wanna try it again. The hardest part was back in the day, it was really hard to find the, tahini. That's the name. I was about to say tahine. I'm like, "That's not it." The tahini for it. But now I think it's pretty readily available, so I need to try it again. Um, Katie, that's a really good question. I guess because it was owned by the church, it would be a parsonage, but yeah, I loved that show growing up. Oh my gosh, that was my favorite show when I was, like, in middle school. I went back and watched a lot of it a few years ago, but that's a really good show. I guess it would be. Agree. I roast him all the time for not liking strawberries. I don't get it. He likes strawberry flavored things, like, right, David? I think he likes as long as there's no seeds. Oh my gosh. He doesn't really like any berries. I will say, like, he's not a big fan of blueberries. He doesn't like raspberries, and the berries are, like, one of my favorite things, so just more for me, I guess. Um, yeah, I mean, y'all know Nate's that's the only fruit that child will eat. Every now and then, he'll try an apple. I mean, like, once every 3 years, but, yeah, he loves the strawberries, and even, like, when we were with my mom and dad, she had a bunch of strawberries, but they were, like, not sweet at all, like, they were like water, and so she's like, "I'm gonna put some sugar on them," and I was thinking in my head, like, I don't know if Nate's gonna eat that, but I was like, "Okay," and she put some sugar on them, and they got, like, kinda syrupy, and I put them on his plate. He ate all of them, so he just loves strawberries. I'm like, "Ugh," but yeah, he loved them and ate them like, the next day. They were more syrupy, so raspberry. I love raspberries. If berries like raspberry blackberries are probably my favorite, but I also really love raspberries. Um, pellet paella, I think it is very similar, just different, kind of a different spices. Cajun is a little bit different, but yeah, it's very similar. Were you not able to watch certain shows? Um, my parents weren't super strict on what shows we could watch. We didn't have like the cable that we have now. Like we didn't have all the options. So they were kind of strict. Like they probably wouldn't let us watch The Simpsons either or anything like that. But honestly, we never asked to. So they were pretty like anything that came on the Disney Channel or Nickelodeon, we watched usually that. I watched mostly Nick at Night. That was my favorite. Like, I Love Lucy, um, any show, Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days, all of those. Bewitched, they let me watch all of those, and I loved it. David wasn't allowed to watch Bewitched. Come on. The other ones that he's listing there, I could see it. My mom and dad never said like you can't watch this, but I don't know. We had tons of stuff. David didn't have the Disney Channel growing up, so he doesn't know like all the movies I grew up on. I mean, y'all, he doesn't know Xenon. I cannot relate to someone who doesn't know Xenon and that movie Quince and Smart House. And he doesn't know anything about the Lizzie McGuire show and even Stevens. Like, how do I relate to my husband? What? And so I'll talk about like Xenon, and he's like, "What are you talking about?" Oh yeah, you didn't have Disney Channel. It's like a travesty. It is a travesty. We loved the Disney Channel growing up. That's pretty much all we watched. So, oh my gosh. Yes, Full House was also one of my favorite shows. We called it the Michelle Show, and we would watch it with my mom and dad like every single week. And I I want to watch it with Lucy because I think she would really like it too. Yeah, David has no idea about any of these amazing movies and shows. And then that movie with Hilary Duff and the girl that's on Even Stevens, which I know her name, but it just escaped me. I follow her on Instagram. Um, that movie was really good too. Oh, so many good movies, but that's the one thing you're looking for in a relationship. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I'm just like, so many times things will come up. Oh, Cadet Kelly. Yes. Cadet Kelly. David did watch Boy Meets World. So that's good. We have that. Cadet Kelly was awesome. It was awesome. I loved all of those Disney Channel movies, like all of them. Okay, if you're from Australia, you may not know Xenon. Xenon is like this is about this it's a movie about this girl who lives, like I'm gonna totally butcher this because I haven't seen it in a long time, but she lives it's not another planet, it's like they live in space, okay? She lives in space because they're all working their families are working for space stuff. And there's like this rock star that's coming to the space station or whatever to put on a concert. And anyway, it's a really cute movie, and we loved it. Um, High School Musical was like after I stopped watching the Disney Channel, so I actually never even saw that. Parent Trap is really good too. There was this thing in um about the Smurfs, and I don't understand what it was, like, in the Christian culture, they thought it was, like, very culty because they all, like, lived in a commune or something, I don't know. We did not have the Smurfs band, but I never cared about them at all, so I never watched them, but that there was, like, this whole thing of it. Yeah. Yeah, David watched a lot of this stuff in college, like, High School Musical and stuff. When I went to college, I didn't even have I feel like all I watched in college was, like, Friends DVDs. Like, I didn't even watch cable because I didn't have one in my room. So, I don't know, Camp Nowhere. I don't know if I ever saw that one. Okay, so you guys are telling her what, um, Xenon was because it's just, like, the coolest movie. I probably will watch it now. I need to show Lucy. I think she would really like it, but I probably once I watch it back, will be like, "Oh lord, it's so bad." Oh my gosh. Yeah, she was sent to Earth as punishment. Yes, yes. Um, your friend dated Ryder Strong? That's cool. We love Boy Meets World, so that is really cool. Will Mark do preschool next year? Probably not next year, probably the year after that. He'll be 3 next year when school starts, so we'll probably wait till he's 4. That's what we're thinking anyway. I would love to get him in, like, some Mother's Day Out program, though, like, I don't know what's available and how expensive it is, we may not be able to do it, but I think, like, a couple days a week, for a few hours, he would do really well with that. It'd be, like, a great way to, like, get, kinda used to something like that, so yeah, Disney Plus and they won't play on our Roku unless we, like, simulcast it from our phones or something, but there's a lot of movies that I think Lucy would really like. Phil of the Future, I saw some of, but it was also kind of past my time. Parent Traps, the one with Lindsay Lohan is my favorite. Freaky Friday also is a really good movie. We love that one. Um, yeah, Xenon is really good. Again, I haven't seen it since I was probably like 12. So, um, oh, I love that your friends dated Sheldon Hunter. Give us the tea. Yes, if you have any good stories, we'd love to hear it. We love Boy Meets World. Is there anything you want to purchase for the new house that you haven't had previously? That's a great question. I don't know about that we haven't had previously, but we do have a list of stuff that we want to get. Um, I know we need a new bed frame. Our bed frame, it has been moved so many times. It's just like a platform like bed frame, and it is horrible. It's like scratching up our floors. It's like falling apart. So we want to get a new bed frame. I also want to get Mark a big boy bed because he's got this like toddler bed. It's like falling apart too because it's his crib. And like once you take the front off to make it a toddler bed, it's not as supportive. So we need to get him that. That's the two biggest things. Eventually, I would love to get new living room furniture and also to get us a new dresser. Because ours is so old and like beat up because again, we've moved so many times. But that's not like necessary right now. So that's kind of what we're thinking as of now. That's a good question though. Have you read A Court of Thorns and Roses series? I don't think so. I never even heard of it. Pete's Dragon. I did feel like I saw that, but it's been a long time. Mops. Yeah, I've heard of Mops. It may be a good thing. Definitely, I'll have to check into it. Yeah, I think like getting him around. I mean, he'll be around kids at church and stuff like that, so that's good. But if we had something, to kind of get him in the routine of school just a little bit without actually having to go full. I just feel like for a 3-year-old, it's a lot to go all day, every day. I want to ease into that. At least that's my thoughts right now. It could change. It could change. Yeah, I've gotten no spam calls the last few lives, so I guess they finally gave up. I don't it wasn't as fun as they thought. I don't Coco and Ratatouille, those are good movies. Actually, I don't know that I've seen Coco all the way through. I've seen, like, bits and pieces of it, but Pepper Ann, yes, I remember that. Very, 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 hazily remember that. Is Nate gonna get a swing? I hope so. That's the other thing that's kinda cruddy. There's no way to move, like, we have that, like, swing in our yard plus the trampoline, like, if we try to move that, I feel like it's gonna be a pain. Trampoline especially is gonna be a pain, so, uh, David's right, do you guys remember when we had a swing that we hung in his doorway? It was like this hammock swing, and he loved it. He would, like, just lay in it and kinda swing a little bit. We might could set that up. We didn't set it up here, because the way his door was, he would swing into a wall. So I think his doorway, both of the boys' doors, right? Like, they just go into an open room. So there's like a wall that he would hit. So maybe we could set that up. And then I do want to get them. Our backyard is not going to be as big. It's the way it's set up. It's not like as open. It's kind of shallow, and then it kind of goes around the side of the house. So, um, I don't know if there's gonna be a lot of room for another trampoline or a swing or something, but if there is, I want to get them another one. They love them so much. But yeah, I don't think we'll be able to take our trampoline, but I'm hoping we can maybe get one. They're not super expensive. I just feel like once you start taking those springs out of the trampoline, it's, like, impossible to get them back on. So, oh, that is so cool, Carissa. That would be so cool to get to, like, watch a show like that you just loved especially growing up. Like, oh man, that's cool. Yeah, we might would start with a half day or something. We'll have to see. He I will say that the last week or so, the naps have not been as consistent. Today we've been doing more of like a quiet time, and I'll let him like look at a Kindle or something for like an hour just to kind of I feel like every kid just needs like a little just lay down, just lay down and rest your body. But today I went in there to check on him and he had fallen asleep. So a sensory room would be awesome, right? If we could have a sensory room. We just kind of like make his room a sensory room. So Nate's room, I keep very a lot of people are asking like how um how are you going to paint Nate's room? Because we're letting Lucy pick out a color, and I have asked him if he wants a certain color, and he just points to the wall that his room is now, and he's like, "This is what I want," and it's just like a neutral. So, I think for him, I try to make it as soothing as possible, a neutral color, and I just try to keep it as much open space. Like I feel like the clutter really bothers him. He's got a bookshelf, he's got a desk, and then we just keep it as open as possible, and I think that really helps, and then, you can add stuff like the swing or a bean bag or something like that, and, just I feel like so many people, like, when you start talking about sensory rooms at school or sensory rooms in a church, they think, "Well, let's, like, put color up because, they love to learn," or there's a rainbow, and, we're gonna fill it with all these toys and stuff. But I try to tell everyone, like, make it as minimal as possible because when you are truly overstimulated, all of that stuff on the walls, like, stimulates you. Everything you're looking at is stimulating you. So if you can just make it peaceful, that's what I've always done for him. Even, like, the nurseries for my babies, I never, like, did a theme with, like, colors, and there's nothing wrong with it if you want to, pictures on the wall, like, I tried to make it so minimal to just be, like, peaceful because when you go in somewhere that's really colorful and pictures on the wall and stuff, even though it's beautiful, it stimulates your brain, so we want to, like, a destimulation room. So, um okay, I've lost where I was. There is not a deck, unfortunately. That the backyard is one of the areas that I'm not thrilled with our new house. It's not terrible. It's got a fence, which we don't have here, which I'm very excited for. But there it's smaller and there's no like y'all know here we have an amazing like gazebo area. It's beautiful. We've got our furniture out there and lights strung. There is literally a slab that we can probably put our patio furniture, not even all of it. We may have to put some of it in the grass. Um, so it's not perfect, but I feel like maybe we can always change that. We could add something if we wanted to. And we're not out there that much. So even a little space is probably enough, but I am kind of sad that there's not a deck or anything. Have we considered getting any more pets? No. I mean, we're kind of a one pet family, especially like Layla is so crazy around other dogs. Like it would just be a nightmare. When she's going to be 13 in April. So, she doesn't have a long time left, although she's super healthy and very spry. When she passes, I'm sure we'll get another little dog. We just like the little dogs. We're dog people, and she's my baby. Indoor swings, you can get the screw into the ceiling. Interesting. The one we have is like, it goes in the door frame. There's like a support that like hooks onto the door frame, and then the swing hangs down. So there, you don't have to screw anything into anything. It was great because we had it in the apartment. So it comes off. And you don't even know it's there. But yeah, those are great. Nate, is he a stimulation seeker or an avoider? I would say a little bit of both. He likes stimulation. Like that's why he jumps. He likes like the weighted blanket. He likes stuff like that. But if he gets overstimulated, which happens a lot, um, going to a room that doesn't have that stimulation is what he needs. I know everybody's different. So he's kind of both. Both. Yeah, definitely we're not going to have as much snow. They get more ice. I think they sometimes get snow, but definitely more ice. And I'm going to be kind of bummed about that because we didn't get a ton of snow here, but it was cool to live in a place that got, some snow. So anyways, all right, you guys, I'm going to take just a couple more minutes to talk to you guys. And then I know all of you guys are probably tired and you all need to go to bed. And Belinda, you need to have a beautiful day. You're just starting, the second half of your day. And we're all ending our day. So, anyways, uh, before having Mark, we mutually decided on not having. We weren't like 100%. Obviously, we hadn't done anything like final to make it impossible for us to have kids. So we were very undecided, but I would say we were definitely leaning towards being done. We had our hands full. We were living in a small apartment. It was not an ideal time, definitely, when we got pregnant. Um, yeah, so I wouldn't say we were 100% set on it, but it was definitely not the right time. I mean, God's timing is always perfect and it all worked out fine. But yeah, Alabama was cold. It was like 30 degrees and less, like in the 20s when we were there. But then it's like the first half of the week, it was like that. We was so cold, like we couldn't go outside and play or anything because it was like below freezing. But then like towards the end of the week, that's how Alabama is. Like there's cold days, and then all of a sudden, 3 days later, it's 80 degrees. That's what makes me crazy about Alabama. They do have cold seasons, but the same week you could be, which I feel like that's like here too. You can have like really warm days, but Alabama especially, it was crazy. Yeah, I know how it's like with the kids that aren't good sleepers. Nate, the whole time David was gone, was up all random hours of the night. And like that's how he is though. Like he is very attuned to what's going on. Like he can sense tension or if like daddy's not home. I feel like it's like those nights that I need him to sleep the most because I am exhausted that he's like, "Oh, midnight. Let's get up and run around the house." Oh my gosh. You're still cooking dinner? Oh my gosh. That's how we did like before we had kids, and now we're like super old. We eat at like 5 o'clock. But I remember like those days of we never really stayed up late, but we would do stuff like that. Eat really late at night, or those were the days. 9:15 in Wisconsin. Oh, yeah, you're 7:15, yeah, you don't need to be going to bed yet, although oh, yeah, April, I don't even know, like, how long Nate could go without sleep. It would probably scare me to know. Melatonin has been a godsend, and also our, um our pediatrician said, "Why don't you try Benadryl too?" And I'm always nervous to give him Benadryl like 3 in the morning because I'm like, "Well, he's gonna be groggy for school." But if he wakes up on the weekend, like, running around like a banshee, um, that has really helped too. So I am not it's just like, I know he doesn't need as much sleep, but, like, we all do. That's what's so hard with him, like, he doesn't wake up and just is quiet. He is so loud. He is so loud, and he doesn't even understand how loud he is. So, yes, David is so right. We are so excited. We've always wanted to be at a church for a long time to like really settle in. Like I know we've moved around a lot lately and it's just been for various things. I mean, we moved in Georgia because of COVID. COVID like, so many churches had issues with finances and all this stuff. I mean, it was horrible. Um and so we moved during that. Then we moved to Alabama. Just a really weird situation with the church there. The church, ended up closing and a bunch of people left and it was just a lot. And so then we moved here and we're like, well, maybe this will be this will be it. But like David was doing worship and music here and he just there's so many things that he wanted to do that he wasn't able to do. And as heartbreaking as it was that for us to lose that job, I do believe it was in God's timing because he wanted to do more. He wanted to not only do music, but to preach and to, be involved in lots of different areas. So we're ready to like sink our roots in and settle. We really are. Benadryl doesn't work. So Nate was the exact same way with Benadryl. When he was like 2 and 3, if I gave him Benadryl, he like ran around like a monkey and it like amped him up. So I was always really afraid to try it. But lately it's been working. So it's so hard when they react differently. Like that, like I react the exact opposite. But, yeah, I mean, we would be open if it was the right church. We would have been open to move anywhere. Now we were hoping to be, around the southeast because that's where our family is. And having kids and stuff, I think it's important to be around their family. But if God had said to move to Wisconsin, we definitely would have. I loved visiting my brother in Wisconsin. It's beautiful. Y'all definitely get a lot of snow. I don't know how well I would handle that much cold though, but it is a beautiful, beautiful state. Yeah, definitely Nate used to be energized by Benadryl. It was horrible. Like, y'all know he's allergic to peanuts. When we first found out he was allergic, um, we had to give him Benadryl for like a full week because it took forever to get out of his system. And I don't think I slept all week. He would just ran around. He just ran around and I was pregnant. It was a rough time. Yes, absolutely. God gives us what we need, and He's always there to help us pick up the slack. And, everybody always thinks like, oh, I don't know. People think that, you should be able to handle everything or, you can't handle. That's the whole thing. Like you can't handle life without God, not and be happy, not have joy. Life is hard. And some people think that, well, if you're a Christian, you shouldn't go through hard things, but the Bible says the complete opposite. Oh man. Yeah, we eat really early because that's the thing. Like I want to eat and be able to clean up the kitchen and then the kids' baths and all of that. So if we don't eat, I think usually around between 5 and 6, usually closer to 6 lately. But yes, Wisconsin does have the best cheese curds. Yum. No, we don't do Awana, not that I know of. Be careful out there, Carissa. Uh, we found out that Nate was allergic when he was 2, but it was back in the day where they said, "Don't feed your kids peanuts till they're 2." So at 2, I gave him he had just turned 2. I gave him some toast with peanut butter at it. on the top, just a very thin layer. He ate just a few bites of it, and he started breaking out in hives on his it was like around his mouth and his neck. And I called the pediatrician. They said give him Benadryl and watch him. And it took probably all day, like 8 hours. By dinner time, his face was starting to swell up, and we had to rush him to the hospital. And they had to give him they didn't do a EpiPen or anything. They just did steroids, and it got it to go away. But because he ingested it, it was like a full week of the allergic reaction. He had hives. He was itchy. It was horrible. Like his stomach was all upset from it being in his, digestive tract. It was horrible. It was horrible. And we had to give him Benadryl, and he would throw up the medicine. It was just it was rough. It was a solid week of just rough. Mark and Lucy are fine with peanuts, but neither one of them like them. We gave them both peanuts pretty early on. I was terrified to give Lucy peanuts. So we ended up having her tested at the pediatrician and then giving her some once we knew that she, wasn't testing positive. But neither one of them really like peanuts, so we don't have them around. Y'all know that we love peanut butter, so I buy peanut butter, but we keep it put away until Nate's in bed. And if we ever make anything, or at school, and then if we ever make anything with peanut butter, we sanitize everything. Like I have a whole thing I do. Make sure I wash the utensils and all of that, spray down the countertops. We always wash our hands. Like we just have to be really careful. So George doesn't eat at school. Oh, he has a fear of eating in front of people. That's so interesting. I will say that Nate, he doesn't eat as well at school. I think there's just so much distraction. But he definitely doesn't mind like eating at restaurants or, family stuff, but he doesn't eat as well at school. Y'all see his lunches. Sometimes he does better than others. You fall asleep with children's Benadryl. Yeah, I like to take Benadryl. So many people are like, okay, so here comes Katie, because I told you she's my pharmacist friend. She said mostly toddler age kids get energized by Benadryl by 8 to 10-ish. You tend to have a more typical sedation effect. That is very true. That's exactly how it was with Nate. So many people are like, well, you should try ZQuil, or you should try, there's all those different like Tylenol PM and all that, but correct me if I'm wrong. All of that is just Benadryl mixed in, right? So to me, like for Nate, the easiest thing to get him to take is just to take Benadryl, like liquid children's Benadryl, and I mix it with juice, and he takes it right down. So, that's right, Belinda. Amen. I have never tried the peanut squirrel candy. I don't even know. I never even heard of that. I'll have to look for that at Trader Joe's. I love trying stuff. Yeah, that was super scary. And all of my like mom life, things I've gone through as a mom, that is ranked pretty far up there as like terrifying. I was pretty big pregnant during that, and obviously emotional. And that was so scary. It was like a Wednesday night. I'll never forget it. We've been watching him all day, watching like his hives and all that. And the doctor said, as soon as like if his face starts swelling, you've got to get him to the hospital. And his face started swelling. And we rushed to the emergency room. And it was one of those times where we walked in and they took us right back. Like, how serious that is. And I was just so like, David met us there, and he had to like not be at church. It was Wednesday night. It was scary. Yes. The bee sting was also very scary. Thankfully, like we had been told, because of this rash that he gets, he has this condition called urticaria pigmentosa. It caused like these weird like splotches on his skin. That was an also scary time. I'm telling a story within a story. He started getting this rashes on his skin. We took him to the hospital, and at first they thought we were abusing him. That was awful. The second thing they thought is he could have like leukemia or something. And so that like waiting for those test results were literally hell on earth. And then this is how you know that God is always with you. We're talking to the ER doc, like he's being real, like weird with us, thinking that we are like abusing. It almost looked like bruises on his skin. And so they thought like we were abusing him. Well, his wife was a dermatologist. And so we're like, he mentions this, and we're like, can you like ask her about this? And he's like laughing. He's like, you think it's funny, but we do that sometimes. And so he like snuck in his phone. It's probably against every policy of the hospital, and showed her on FaceTime. And she knew exactly what it was. Oh, that's urticaria pigmentosa. And it's just something he has to outgrow. Like it's not harmful at all. That was terrifying. But the bee sting, so when he got stung by a bee, she had told us, and the dermatologist we saw after her said, if he gets stung by a bee, he has super histamine. Like he has a lot of histamine in his system. So if he ever gets stung, he could have an allergic reaction really bad. And so we were at David's mom and dad's pool. I was taking Lucy into the bathroom, came back out, and David's like, he got stung. He got stung. I have never been so afraid in my entire, like, I felt like my heart like sunk to my butt, you know? And we like grabbed him up and we're taking him inside. And I've got my EpiPen ready in case he has allergic reaction. I call like my mom, even though I'm talking to David's mom, like, what should we do? Should we wait till he starts like having a reaction before we take him to the hospital? Should we take him to the hospital? And so finally we settled on there was a pharmacy right by the her house. And so we just took him to the pharmacy and sat and walked around just to make sure he wasn't going to have an allergic reaction. Cause I felt like if anybody could help us, you know, in an emergency situation, and it's not a doctor, like having a pharmacist right here would probably be a good thing. And he was totally fine. And he's been stung again since then and was fine. But y'all, that his arm getting broke, I feel like everything that was scary has pretty much been him. Lucy ate a scorpion pincher once as a baby. So that was scary. I called poison control with her. And then other than that, like there's been like Lucy had croup several times. That was really scary. I feel like all my, future gray hairs are going to be from all of that. Oh, your daughter had a red dye allergy. Oh man, that's scary. And there is red dye in like everything. That's what's so great. As bad as peanut allergy is, I feel like that's not something you really like sneak into stuff. I can't imagine like having a dairy allergy. You would have to be so careful. I mean, we're super careful about the peanut too, but it's not like it's in everything. Oh, it's so scary. David is super allergic to ibuprofen, Motrin, aspirin, anything like that. All he can have is Tylenol. And it wasn't like that when he was a kid. His mom's like, I gave him that all the time as a kid. When we started dating, I had given him like an Excedrin or something, and he had trouble breathing. And it was really weird. We thought it was just like a fluke. And like the next time he took it, like his face swelled up. And he hasn't taken it in a long time, but the few times he's taken it accidentally, and like his face is swollen up, he's had trouble breathing. It is scary. It's scary. Thank you so much, Belinda. I hope you have a blessed night. Thank you for hanging out with us. Yeah, Lucy, she was like one of those, seasons of babyhood where they're just putting everything in their mouth. And we lived in Texas, and I had seen scorpions a few times, but that's just how it is there. And I saw her chewing on something, and I pulled out like half of a scorpion out of her mouth. I don't know. She was probably 8 months old. And so I like freaked out, called poison control. And it was like one of those things where they're like, okay, let me let you talk to someone. Like nobody knew what to tell us. And finally they were like, you know what? Just watch her. If anything starts seeming weird, bring her to the hospital, but she should be okay. Like we didn't know, was this alive? Was it dead? Like she just found it. And I kept my house clean. I promise. I don't know, y'all. Mark was the same way. Like when he was that age, I told David back when he was a baby, I felt like I saved his life every single day. He constantly was putting stuff in his mouth. He constantly was climbing on stuff, and like I would save him to pull stuff out of his mouth. Like you had to watch him so close because Lucy had all these little toys, these little Shopkins and stuff, and I'm like, this is like a death trap here. And he would find any little thing. Now I could let him play with quarters. Like he never puts anything in his mouth. He's so picky about stuff. But that was a hard season. That was a hard season. But anyway, you guys, it is getting late. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It was so fun. It's always fun. Tomorrow, don't forget the Gold Tier Zoom call. It's going to start at 8:45. I will post the link in the morning to the Zoom call in the Gold Tier thing on Patreon so you can join us. And then I was going to do it Thursday, but I think I'm moved to Friday. This Silver and Gold Patreon chat at 8:30. It's just going to be for the Gold and Silver Patreon. So if you're not joined, you can join it and still be with us, or we'll do this again next week. So thank you guys so much. And I love you all. Have a great night, everybody.